Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Life's Biggest Questions. I'll be your host, Jared Bronstein, and today we'll be exploring the very intriguing question of what if SCP-3166 was real? Now, as you know, we've done tons of SCP videos, and as always, I recommend you drop us some comments below with other videos you'd like to see on our channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the SCP videos, make sure to subscribe, and of course, share this one with a friend. I'll also be replying to some comments at the end of this video, but for now, let's get right into this one. So, SCP-3166. What is it? Who is it a threat to? And how do we stop it? We're going to answer all that and more here for you on LBQ, so let's get to it. So I'm sure you all know who Garfield is, but for those of you that don't, well, first off, my condolences. Do yourself the favor and look him up. But in a quick summary, he's a grumpy cat who hates Mondays, loves lasagna and pizza, and doesn't seem to enjoy much other than eating. There are other characters such as his owner, John Arbuckle, and his pet dog, Odie, whom is usually the blunt of Garfield's antics. All in all, Garfield is a classic comic strip with harmless humor, and that is what SCP-3166 is based on, Garfield. But SCP-3166 is a more demonic version of Garfield. In relation with the creepypasta, we'll be calling SCP-3166 Gorefield. Upon further research on both creepypasta and of course the SCP Foundation website, Gorefield is quite a violent monster. Standing at approximately 2.1 meters in height or 6 foot 9 inches, Gorefield is known to be manifested when the Garfield media franchise is performing poorly. Gorefield is described to be, according to the SCP Foundation website, crudely made costume of the character Garfield, which field inspection has shown to be composed of legitimate cat fur. However, unlike Garfield or any cat, really, its entire innards is made up of lasagna. When Gorefield is manifested, it seems to appear within the vicinity of its target. These targets could be any of the following: rivaling media in regards to the Garfield franchise, those who used to be involved with the production of the Garfield comic strip, anyone who is involved with parodies of the Garfield franchise, critics of the Garfield franchise, and of course, Garfield's creator, Jim Davis. When Gorefield does reach its intended target, it will cause harm upon them with blunt force trauma, using nearby objects, and will force feed its victim lasagna, obtained from self-disembowelment. And for those of you that don't understand, well, Gorefield will kill its targets by hitting them using nearby objects and by stuffing lasagna down their throats, which is obtained by cutting its own stomach open and taking its insides out. The only way to stop this from happening is by baiting Gorefield with frozen lasagna. Upon seeing the frozen treat, Gorefield will immediately take its focus off of attacking its original target and will make its new goal consuming the lasagna. But following the consumption of said lasagna, Gorefield gets right back to its initial goal, terminating the original target. The manifestation of Gorefield initially happened on October 23, 1989, in the Chicago offices of United Media, where Garfield comics were published at the time. For the next week, Gorefield would manifest in different United Media offices across the country, ending on October 29, 1989. And that's all the information we know about this beast or monster, Gorefield, also known as SCP-3166. So what would life be like if Gorefield or SCP-3166 was indeed real? If you don't speak poorly about Garfield, are you then considered safe? Not quite. Unfortunately, Gorefield has no remorse whatsoever when it comes to the human race and those it attacks. It will kill anyone and anything that stands in its way and of the mission. Aside from this, if you're simply within its vicinity, it will attack you en route to finding its initial target. And being a demonic entity, it seems, as previously mentioned, there is no real capturing of this creature. It's manifested and demanifested. Even if it's caught and locked up, it can then disappear and reappear elsewhere. Of course, this leads to the very scary realization that no one is necessarily safe. If you talk poorly of Garfield, you could be at risk. If you used to work there, you're at risk. And if you currently work for Andrews McMeel Syndication, which was formerly Universal UClick, who now owns the rights to Garfield, you could also be at risk. Now you may be thinking, well, I don't know anyone who works there, I don't watch Garfield, nor do I care to talk poorly about it. Surely I wouldn't be a target. You see, it's not that simple. Say Gorefield's target is an employee of the new company that owns its rights. Say that said employee is out for dinner one night and you just so happen to be at the same restaurant. Well, you could very well be at the risk of being attacked by Gorefield. And unfortunately, it truly is as scary as that. Being at the wrong place at the wrong time. So if this evil entity really were a true threat to the world, well, there wouldn't be much that we could do. Of course, the notion of us all carrying around frozen lasagna as a form of self-defense would seem quite silly, but it may be our best bet. Imagine that, people all over the world carrying frozen lasagna in their pockets just in case the evil being that is Gorefield tries to attack them. That'd be the day. Of course, being curious is in our nature as humans, which means government officials may even try to deliberately summon this entity to see how to control it, how to combat it, and in general try to understand it. Of course, this would lead to the death of many. Some would have to summon Gorefield by speaking poorly in the name of the Garfield franchise. With no way of combating its powers, that said person would ultimately be a sacrifice. Who knows how many times this would be done and how much money would be spent on research, trying to understand an entity we may very well never fully be capable of understanding. Aside from the necessary loss of life and millions of dollars spent, ultimately, we'd all be at risk of falling victim to Gorefield, also known as SCP-3166. Now thankfully, Gorefield is simply a figment of imagination. At least, I hope so, otherwise I'm not even safe. And if this is in fact the last video you ever hear me on, let's end it on a good note with a handful of comments I can reply to. In the video, what if the sun comes 1 inch closer to the earth? Truemaine Mackey said, what if humans never age past 25? Well, I think there'd probably be like a limit on... Actually, no, probably just like overpopulate. I'd be like, people would have a lot of sex and try to repopulate very quickly because 25 is young. And I don't think your reproductive organs really start working until like 15. So... be a lot of young parents out there, and then babies, I guess, trying to fend for themselves. I guess like no one really have a parent after like 8 or 10 years old. That'd be really tough. I feel like that'd probably be the end of the world. Because I mean, like an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old can't, you know, understand medicine. Even if you're like 20 and like you have 5 years left. I don't know. Rixie said literally the only answer that isn't everyone dying. That's not true. We've done videos about the presidents and people don't die. So, you know. Adolfo Cardoza said, what if the earth was round? I don't even know where to begin with that comment, man. Like, that's such a ridiculous comment. The earth would never be round, so I don't know why is that even a question? Anyways, guys, on that note, I'm gonna wrap this one up. You gotta let me know in the comments down below if you like or dislike the Garfield franchise. I grew up with it. I watched the cartoon, I believe it was. Yeah, it was a cartoon. When I was a kid, I obviously liked it. The comics, I never really grew up with, like the comic strips and the newspapers and stuff. But definitely like the show, so I'm a fan. So hopefully Gorefield won't come kill me, but maybe he will. Who knows? Anyways, guys, I've been your host, Jared Bronstein. Make sure to give this video a good old thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe, click that bell so you guys never miss a video, and drop us some comments down below with other questions you would like to see on this channel, and we'll see you next time.